My name's Wendy and I'm a village and a community agent in South Somerset. Welcome to today's Talking Cafe Live. There's quite a few of you out there that already know all about us and have been watching our Talking Cafes. And I would like to thank those for their continued support and hope you're getting some valuable information. And hopefully today we will have new people watching for the first time. So for those people, just a brief recap on who we are. CCS started in 1926 and has gone from strength to strength, as you can see. And now we have a plethora of agents. Although the titles change, so you have carers agents and village agents, we have a Macmillan agent. We all basically have the same agenda. We are there to support, all of us support everybody that's in need, ensuring that we can get them to the help and support that's out there for them. Today's Talking Cafe is going to be on hospital discharge. Let's start with, can you imagine leaving your home abruptly and never returning to it again? This is what happens to people when they're assessed in a place that's not their own home and it's not the normal environment. So things have changed now, and we're going to talk and look at what's been referred to as D2A, which is discharge to assess. Now, when a person is medically fit, and the best course of action is for them to go home and be in their own environment, before leaving the hospital, they will be assessed. Now, this helps them to reach their full potential. So they're put back in their homes, but they're put back in their homes with support. So they look at the patient, they send them home with a team of people that are going to support them and assess them as to what is needed. Okay. Now, if you're unable to return to home, they will look at ways that, other ways to support you. Longer stays in hospital can lead to worsening health outcomes and increased dependency. The D2A service, what's it about? It's they work with people in their homes after discharge. They decide a person's long-term care and support needs. Okay, I'm going to breathe. Calm down, start again. Right, the service. They work with the people, with the clients, to their agreed goals. So it's not them going in and saying, oh, you need to do this, this and this. They chat to the people and the families, look at what support is needed, where the support is needed, what is it the person wants to achieve. How can they help them to do that? It could be as simple as going to the route, the easiest route, the way that they can, depending on what's wrong with them. Make a cup of tea. What is required to get them from where they're sitting to the loo, getting on and off the loo, doing it all themselves and being independent. It can be as basic as those things, and assessing what can we put in, how can we help, what aids need to go in. So they work with them, and they will have a key worker They will also then identify longer term support needs. They also work with provider agencies who visit on a number of occasions during the following days or weeks. And the period of assessment, during the period, it's assessment, it's discussion, it's completion of the goals. You may get referred to social care if you need long-term. If you need a long-term package of care, there's further rehabilitation. You might need the equipment. There's advice on self-funding options, or link you into voluntary organisations. So who is the D2A for? They're there for anyone that they're able to support in their own home to keep them safe and able to cope and manage between visits. The ward teams spend the time with you to understand the support that you would require to go home, and then they refer you to that support and assessment. And the ward team link up with you and the people who know you well and that you're working with to identify when it's the right time for you to return home. What can you expect? What can they expect from you? They're setting all this up in place. What they expect, what they would like from you to get the most out of the service is for you to participate with the recommended therapies to help you recover and regain your full potential. They review your progress, and they discuss and agree with you when you feel that you're able to cope on your own. And they make sure that you have the information and advice to keep you safe in your home. Now, anyone who's in hospital, just start talking to the staff about it when you start talking about your discharge. So, us as agents, where do we come in? Community agents. To give you a case scenario for argument's sake, we have a client and they've had a stroke and they're over here in South Somerset, but they actually live in Street. So they're in South Petherton Community Hospital, Stroke Hospital, and they're living in Street. So now, to be able to get them back home and to assess their needs, they've been out and looked at the home, and it's not practical for them to go back because the bed's upstairs and they've got no way of being able to climb the stairs. So what they would do is they would need to set up a micro-environment downstairs to make living at home possible for them again, to make them, give them a home life with support. Now, the practicalities between Street and South Petherton are not, it's just not practical. So we have agents all over Somerset. So we would link up and we would ensure that everything that needs to happen to make that discharge, to get that patient home, takes place. Alternatively, it could be somebody's been quite poorly, they're very old, they've got poor sight, they're very frail. Up to this point in time, they have been coping on their own, not knowing where to turn to. Having had to stay in hospital, it's come to light that when they've assessed the home to see whether or not it's practical for them to go back to home, actually it's very, very cluttered, and it's actually quite dirty. The person has been struggling, not been able to clean properly, and so what they would do is they would contact the village agents, community agents, and say, what can you do to support the person? So we would go and we would arrange and help for the decluttering, the deep cleaning. remembering everything that's done is always with consent. We would never assume or take on a role where we have not received the consent of the person. So we've sorted the place out, we've helped declutter it, the deep cleaning has taken place, and it's lovely for the client to go home. We wouldn't just walk away, we would ensure that the person is aware of any other help that's available, from a befriending service to a package of care, to micro providers going in and helping to keep everything spick and span and supporting and ensuring that they're getting some visits and they're making new relationships as well at the same time. So we do go above and beyond what we're supposed to do most of the time. Now, quick recap on us as agents. We know it's difficult when family members and loved ones have to go into the hospital, especially now because the visiting and everything else has really separated people. Yes, it's lockdowns easing, etc., but unfortunately for the hospitals, there's still that barrier. So if you do have somebody in hospital, it's good to get the planning done for returning them home as soon as possible. Although you can't go in and see and hold and touch, you can still talk. If you've got concerns about someone coming home, whatever those reasons are, bring them up with the hospital staff at the earliest opportunity. It could be that they weren't coping well and that they as they're used to being at home, they found bathing difficult recently, but they're not actually going to be talking about them. They're a little bit embarrassed, or for whatever reasons. Let staff know. Let them know of your concerns and your worries. You know that person better. If they have a specific condition, it could be a good time to get support from the numerous charities that support them. You've got for dementia, you've got the Alzheimer's. For MS, the MS Society. There's the British Heart Foundation. For cancer, there's the Macmillan. If you're unsure as to what help is out there, again, your village agent is able to signpost you and give you all that information that you need. Because we work as one, even though your hospital might be in Yeovil and you live over in Sedgemoor or even the Mendips and you've come over, that doesn't matter. We all know each other and we can get that information over so that a local agent is actually giving you relative information. There's a plethora of support out there for you all. And as you say, it's just knowing how to access it and knowing what is available. All of the charities have a wealth of advice and they'll help to support you too. If you know that your loved one would benefit from some care going forward, it's important to think about what type of care it is that they need. It's very easy to generalise, but if you can give the specifics, if you observe and you can say, well, actually, you're giving them the best help that they can get. So think about what will work for you both. And then, do you want an agency? Do you want a small agency? Would you much prefer a self-employed carer? All these things, have a good chat. Let's get it right more often the first time. You know what they say? It's good to talk. The hospital could even recommend, again, the microenvironment. And if it's your elderly parents, and you then yourself are still quite elderly, you're not able to do it yourself. For whatever reasons, you're not able to go in there and have a good sort out. Again, contact the village agent, community agent, who is local to your area. see what help and support you can get. The hospital can also arrange, if you're worried that they might not have any food when they get home. Shopping can be arranged through Red Cross, for argument's sake, for a period of time to support them in that initial until things can be put into place. And village agents and community agents also help, and using the community support groups can also get what's needed for you. If you think you need help in any of the matters that have been looked at today, talk to the hospital teams, talk to your village and your community agents. We're all there to help you. Quick recap on the D2A. The patient can be referred to a community agent before or after discharge to either get the home ready or to solve issues that arise once they're home. We take referrals from discharge nurses, occupational therapists, physiotherapists and re-enablement staff. It's important to get across that D2A is not a time-bound service. A lot of people used to think and still refer to it as 6 weeks of free care. This isn't the case. It's very much based on ongoing assessments and the person's need. And it will be withdrawn as soon as is necessary so somebody else can benefit from the care. And it can be, you only need 24 hours. You just need to get in, get settled, and you're actually quite capable. Or it can go on for several weeks. Frequently, referrals are being found private packages of care once the D2A staff have ceased their visits, either because the patient is self-funding or because they only require domestic help, or they want help with the garden, something like that. Terminology is also very important. It's reablement and not care. We also link and take referrals from the hospital interface service, who are essentially social workers. They're usually involved at pre-discharge when social care needs or ongoing care at home has been identified. We can access the Home First grant for people unable to finance things themselves if it will help prevent a delayed discharge, or if they're already home, it actually prevents the readmission to hospital. And we also take referrals from rapid response. So that's a very quick recap for you. Now, those of you that have seen my previous presentation know that I finished with a poem. Well, I've done the same for you today. A little poem called Going Back Home. When home from hospital you may go, the D2A team will say hello. As community agents, we will ensure that continued support will be at your door. With domestic help and package of care, we'll ensure you get to stay there. This will be planned to ensure you're safe and keep you at home in your own place. Next week on Talking Cafe Lives, we've got on Monday, it's going to be Tracy Bland from West Somerset, and she's going to be covering shielding. On Tuesday, Caroline Korf, who's in the Taunton team, will be covering arts and creative therapy. On Wednesday, Abe Murphy, he is with Smart Communities and he will be covering Carers Academy, Good Neighbours and other projects. Thursday, it's our Laura back again, Lauren Giddens, and she's from Sedgemoor. She's going to be joined by Bev G. Starr, who's an artist from Seed, from the Seed Project. And Friday brings you back round to South Somerset, where we're going to be looking at disability awareness. I hope you've learned something today, and I've been able to reassure and help those that need it. If you have any questions, then please do contact us either on our website or call, and we look forward to being able to help and support you. Thank you very much. I'm going to say bye-bye for now, and no doubt I will be seeing you again soon. Goodbye.